So let's talk about PERMA for a second. Like what is that? Well, it's an acronym, PERMAH. The H was added on a little later. But basically, it kind of was designed to help people think about, what can I do? Like, if I were really going to be a mentally fit person, it kind of helps to think of something like PERMA to help us consider what are the exercises that we need to do in order to achieve that mental fitness or that mental wellness. So the P in PERMA begins with positive emotion. So really what this involves is trying to identify moments of gratitude. So there's been a lot of research that shows that, it's kind of easy almost. I don't want to say easy. It's not really the right word. More like our brains are designed to focus on negativity. Many of you may or may not know this is why news outlets and media outlets focus a lot more on negative news. The clickbait types of things that are going to engage you are going to focus on negative things. Roughly 80% of our thoughts, naturally speaking, are negative. In part, that's because our minds are designed to look out for the negative, to be sort of aware of what bad things might happen for survival reasons. And because we are social beings, social survival is in some ways tantamount to physical survival for us. So when we are stuck in negative thinking loops, if you will, we can sometimes break out of that by focusing maybe on 2 to 3 things that you have to be thankful for each day. So that first P, positive emotion, practice gratitude, is another way of thinking about it. The E is engagement. So we want to enhance our engagement with what is really kind of like happening around you, engagement with your current life. Oftentimes with mental health issues, we get stuck too much in the past or the future, and there's not really a whole lot you can do in this exact moment about what's to come. You can plan for it and you can prepare for it, but a lot of times, once you've done that, you just have to wait. Or the past, well, it's already happened. There is no undoing it, erasing it, et cetera, et cetera. So if we can enhance your engagement, we can, by incorporating activities that bring your focus to what we call the here and now, that will help kind of pull your mind out of the past and the future and help balance your mind into more of the present, what's currently happening. The third thing that we're going to want to do is focus on relationships. My general encouragement here is I want you all to prioritize small, meaningful interactions, even if it's just a brief check-in with a friend or a family member. One of the things that I'll mention here is this is a really commonly overlooked, just outright ignored step, because so much of our lives are centered on paying bills, going to work, making money, doing the things. And oftentimes we are bereft of energy, it feels like, to put into meaningful relationships. And that can be really overwhelming, and we can outthink of ourselves into doing anything and then just kind of end up withdrawing. So focusing on small, meaningful interactions, even if it's just a text message or if it's a quick hello, can make a really big impact. The M, the A kind of go somewhat together, and the A and the H go together. So let me talk about these 3 things together. The M is meaning, the A is achievement or accomplishment, and the H is health. So these last 3 concepts, I'll just kind of briefly mention, are really personal. And that's why it can be a little bit more challenging to describe, like, what are these things? Like, what's meaningful to you might not be the same thing that's meaningful to me. And that's okay. That's part of what makes the world go round. Let's think of the M as seeking meaning. Basically, we want to cultivate or set aside time to reflect on your own personal values and consider, again, SMART goals, specific, small, measurable, achievable, relevant, time limited goals that align with your sense of purpose. So even if, and this is depending on where you're at, right? Some For some people, if you have more means, if you're more mobile, that can be, I'm going to go to this meeting for this thing and volunteer. For some folks, it might be all that we can do to, hop on a message board and just read what's happening or stay informed. And I'm just trying to give some very broad examples, but the point here is we really want you to focus on what matters to you. And a lot of times if we are struggling with depression or anxiety, we have lost our sense of meaning, our sense of purpose. We're just kind of floating and meandering and kind of asking ourselves, like, what is the point? And maybe part of the point is your relationships. Maybe part of the point is, not really lost, but we just don't have an active, connected sense to how our actions are leading towards a more fulfilling and meaningful life. So that's where accomplishments or achievements come into play.